What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dad Life. Alright, guys, fun parts. 2 new Corvette parts as we prep for the Corvette Ocean City Boardwalk Corvette show. Let's see what I got and enjoy the video. Boxes. Who doesn't love boxes? I already opened them up. Sorry, guys. Alright, so these, you probably already might imagine, are from Extreme Online Store. You see I've been making parts for Corvettes, Dodge Chargers, Challengers, you know, mainstream popular cars. They've been making parts for these types of cars for years. And I'd say about a couple years ago, they started to release Corvette C5 parts. So here we have, let's take a peek. So here, let's see what we have. Ooh, I think you already could tell. Right here, let's open this up. There you go, little tease. We have their ZR1 extended spoiler. Again, they're made of ABS plastic, which is good so you could paint it, wrap it, dip it, do whatever you gotta do. So let's take a look at this. All right, guys, so here's the rear spoiler setup. It comes with a hardware pack. Basically comes with, on the bottom here, you're gonna see it has the holes in the bottom. Yes, it's recommended to drill it into the bumper. Here's your center point. I would still measure it to make sure it's 100% centered before you just go drilling into your bumper, but you basically would be installing 5 studs in this little hardware packet. You're gonna put studs in here after you drill the holes. These little tabs here are hole finders, which you basically put like this and then tape it to your car. So you basically painter's tape here and here to the bumper. So then that way when you take the spoiler off, it shows you exactly where to drill the holes. Now, as my luck with anything, they only sent in the packaging for the hardware 3. And I need, well, there's 5 holes. I am not going to drill the center because I don't feel like removing the third brake light. And I've also read plenty of guys have used these spoilers with just 3M tape. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of 3M tape as well as 4 out of the 5 holes. But realistically, I'm still short one of these. So I'm going to reach out to them today and see if they could send me one of these, because it would be nice to just plop those on like so. Again, rest it on the bumper. Once you find your center lines, tape it. And then what you're going to do, as you see this, they're going to remain in the car, and basically right there in the center, you drill your pilot holes. So I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just, again, as with anything when you order online, there's always something. All right, guys, we're back at the car. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wipe down basically the trunk area with some rubbing alcohol and a microfiber towel. You see all the dirt and everything, so we want it as clean as possible before we actually mount it. Then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna mark the center line on the spoiler. Now, most of you guys are gonna have your C5 emblem on the hatch, so you just use that as your center point also. Mine has been taken off. I took mine off when we got it wrapped. So we're gonna just mark the center line here and mark the center line of the spoiler and go from there. So let's clean this down. All right, guys, so where I'm at is I marked the center line. It's exactly 3.75 inches of the brake light. And then what I did is I measured all the bolt holes on the spoiler. And I did measure before I just assumed, but this is a dead center line for the middle bolt hole. And then each screw is roughly, I think, 12 and a quarter inches apart, each screw, dead center. So 12.25 inches, 12.25, so on and so forth. So what I did was, I'm not going to be using the middle screw because I don't feel like messing with the third brake light housing, since that was a bear to put in. But I am gonna remove the taillights and use the 4 screws, which will be more than enough. Plus I'll put a little bit of 3M double-sided body tape on, just for extra peace of mind. But again, that spoiler's not gonna go anywhere. A lot of guys run spoilers like this with just 3M tape. So again, of course, 4 screws is gonna be more than sufficient. So what I also did was, you're gonna see, because it's wrapped, it's extra slippery right now, but you're gonna just line up your center there. And I even put some reference points with tapes on the side since I'm doing this one-handed. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab the little hole marker plastic tabs, put them on the edges, and then I'll show you that now. All right, guys, where I'm at, one-handed. Again, keep always lining up your center reference point. There's the outer 2 screws. I have the little plastic tabs taped to the deck lid itself. So now we're gonna lift up the spoiler. I'm gonna have to put the camera down to do this though. We're gonna lift up the spoilers, So in theory, now we should have our 2 end holes, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do to get the rest of the holes. So what we're gonna do is, we have our end holes marked with the little plastic hole finders. Make sure they don't come off. And what I did was...
Don't touch the car.
Yep, don't touch the car, guys. What I'm using is petroleum jelly, Vaseline, Aquaphor, diclectic grease. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the holes like this, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna put it in the holes,
Oh.
just like that. And then the object is we're going to flip the spoiler onto the ends where those holes would be. Align your center line, and in theory, it's gonna leave behind 2 little marks, and it's gonna show you where to drill those holes. Let's try it, and don't hit any button until I tell you. Just like that, just like that. No one touch anything. All right, guys, so we're gonna line up the outer holes first.
Yeah, my hand again.
No,
Yeah,
no, baby.
yeah.
So we've got outer hole,
In the hole.
That
No, we go.
and we got in the hole.
center,
Oh,
okay,
my hand.
and push,
Not yet, Luke.
push, push, and lift.
Whoa.
There we go.
Okay, done.
All done. All right, guys. So now there is where you mark your other holes. And then, hold on, sweetie. Trying to do this with the kids. All right, anyway. So line it up. Make sure it's 12 1/4. And we got 12 1/4 inch. Hold on, sweetie. Center, 12 1/4 inch. Again, I'm just eyeballing this, which, 12 1/4 inch. There's the hole that you're gonna drill, 12 1/4 inch. Oh my God, scissors. All right, guys, the next thing you're going to do is remove all 4 taillights. Again, I'm only putting, thank you, bud. Leave that there. Good job, buddy. Leave that there. I'm only going to be putting on the 4 screws. I'm going to skip this one. So we're going to put those in. So again, you have to use a T15, and you're going to have your 2 screws. If you've never taken out your taillights, T15, 2 screws, taillight will pop right out. Super easy. If you do not have one of these tools, I recommend these for Allen keys, hex keys. They sell sets. Good old Harbor Freight, Amazon, Home Depot. You will thank me later, especially if you have a Corvette. Actually, realistically, any car, guys. Any car you're working on, especially if you're younger and you're trying to figure out what tools, stuff like this will help you. Extensions, ratchets, all that good stuff. So let's pop out the taillights. Then we're going to have access. So once we drill the holes, you're going to have to go behind the taillights with your 10 millimeters to put the nuts on. So let's do this. All right, guys, I'm being a little paranoid, but I added more tape here to keep the screw finder stationary. Same here. I added tape on the edge of the bumper. I refitted the spoiler once to make sure that the Vaseline kind of landed where it did. And then I even measured again here to here that everything is 12 1/4 inches. So now the only thing left to do is, of course, the scary part. We're going to use the smallest drill bit that'll fit in here. We're going to drill some holes. And we're going to also video this. So here we go. So line this up. As you see, I have the taillights out. Let's just do this. All right. All right, we're gonna go to this edge. All right. And then we're gonna go to the center here. For this, I'm gonna need 2 hands. All right, as Celine Dion said, there's no turning back, or it's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now, but there's no turning back. So we drilled into our Corvette, but what else is new? I've drilled in plenty of things in the bottom of this car. So we got our pilot holes. So now we're going to, as my son is raking, gonna grab the hardware bag. We've got to put the studs on the bottom, so let's do that. And then let's just open this up again. Thanks guys for dealing with this one-handed, but we're getting it done. I want to grab one of the studs out real quick just to show you. So you're going to have basically at the bottom of the stud, let it focus, you have basically a slot for a flathead screwdriver. So what of course you're going to do is you're going to come over to your spoiler, you're going to put that stud into the pre-drilled hole, keep the slotted side up, so that way right now I'm just hand tightening it, but then you can give it a couple extra turns with a flathead screwdriver. And again, you're going to do that for, in my case, I'm only putting on the 4 again. You're going to put on 5 if you choose to put on all 5. So we're going to do the outer ones, right bud?
Yeah.
Just like that. We're going to leave the petroleum jelly there for good luck. Right bud? Yeah, you can mark on it if you want. So again, we're going to go like that.
Like that.
And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab, if I'm not mistaken, a 1/4 inch. Let's see, 1/4 inch. Is this a 1/4 inch? I think a 1/4 inch will work. Let's just check. 1/4 inch. We're going to check to make sure that it's not too big, although you do want some play. So 1/4 inch. Yeah, I'm going to say a 1/4 inch is what you would want to drill to expand the holes and go from there. All right, guys, moment of truth. I basically wiped off the bottom of the spoiler and I wiped off the bumper again with the rubbing alcohol. So again, we're doing this one-handed, but let's see. All right, guys, here is the installed ZR1 extended spoiler. I put some Loctite on the 4 nuts, tighten them down with the 10 millimeters. Tail light's back on, pretty self-explanatory after that point. In terms of fitment, which I already knew going in, it's a little raise right here on this edge and this corner here. It's the Extreme online store. If you're seeing this, I would say just work on your mold on the edges and you'd literally have probably one of the best fitting spoilers on the market. And at that price point, you'll sell even more. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't, as I always say, please like, subscribe, comment. ZR1 spoiler, baby. Look how cool it looks.